I don't know who this is for, but I know this is for someone. I want to encourage you to embrace the Great Reset. Now, before you write me off, know that I am not talking the Great Reset of the world, nor the Great Reset of the economy. I am not talking about the Great Reset the global elite are seeking to bring about in this world. The Great Reset that I'm talking about is the reset that is needed within your life. Would it surprise you to learn that it's okay to reset? Would it surprise you to learn that it's okay to recharge? Would you be shocked if I told you that it's okay to simply rest? If you've dealt with technology at all, you know that sometimes the way to fix the issue with your device is to simply reset it. You've experienced this, haven't you? You've had to reset your modem. You've had to reset your router. You've even had to reset your device. What about your car and those annoying notifications and alerts that pop up when the system in place is telling you something needs to be addressed? You bring your car into the auto body shop, and after they've completed the work, they reset the system so the alert goes away. I'm convinced our lives are like that. I believe our lives have a way of telling us we have a need to reset, to recharge, and to allow ourselves to simply take a step back. Introspection, self-reflection, and even meditation upon God's word are crucial during these times. It's possible to be so busy and to always be on the go that you forget what it's like to simply slow down. What if I told you that your body has a way of telling you it's time to slow down? Would you believe me if I told you that your physical body has its own internal system that warns you when you're on the verge of burnout? Would you believe me if I told you that your body has a way of sending out warnings and alerts letting you know that you're pushing yourself too hard? You don't believe me. I can see it in your eyes. I see you looking at me thinking that I am absolutely crazy. And that's okay. I get it. Sometimes it's hard to slow down. Sometimes it's hard to detach. Sometimes it's hard to remove ourselves from what we've been so used to. I would like to remind you of the words which David wrote in the 23rd Psalm, as he declared of the Lord how he caused him to lie down in green pastures, and he led him beside the still waters. Tell me, when was the last time you allowed yourself to lie down in green pastures? When was the last time you were led beside still waters? When was the last time you all was at calm and all was at rest? Remember that Jesus, as busy as he was with all the demands that were placed on him, took time to detach himself from the crowds, from the demands, from the work of the ministry, and from the expectations of people. Examine the Gospels and see how often Jesus invited the disciples to come away with him into a solitary place. Remember, it was Jesus who spoke to those who were weary and heavy laden, and he invited them to come unto him. And what did he promise them? He promised them rest, and not just rest, but rest for their souls. Oh, there is a place for rest for the physical body, but there is another rest, a rest that is found within the depths of our souls. Learn and recognize this within your life, because your body has a way of telling you it's time to slow down. The more I walk with the Lord, the more I realize that if we don't allow ourselves to slow down and take time to recharge and reset, life has a way of forcing us into this place. You've been there. I know you've been there. You've been non-stop and always on the go and always on the move. And situations and circumstances started rising up that caught you off guard and took you by surprise. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that if we don't take the time to slow ourselves down and say no to the busyness of life, God has a way of bringing us into that place. Some of you right now know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you are in this place right now. Some of you have been asking why certain things have happened in your life. Some of you are even asking why certain events are taking place right now. I would submit to you that while God might not be the author of such events, He allows them to unfold within your life to bring you into this place of pause, into this place of quietness, into this place of rest, and into this place of simply letting go of the cares of this world. If we aren't careful, the cares of this world can choke the life out of us, something the enemy and adversary would love nothing more to take place within our lives. I would invite you to learn how to detach yourself from the busyness of life. I would invite you to learn how to remove yourself from situations and circumstances and even people so you can truly experience the rest God has for you. Now, I realize for some this might be a foreign concept. However, this is about your soul. Your physical body will be touched and it will be impacted. But at the very heart and center of this is a work that needs to be done in the depths of your soul. Learn to embrace the pauses. Learn to embrace the stops. I call this yellow light Christianity. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. What do you do when you're approaching a yellow light? Do you slowly apply pressure to the brake and bring yourself to a stop as the light turns red? Or do you apply pressure to the gas pedal and speed through the yellow light? It's very easy for us to accelerate when we approach the yellow light so we can continue going. Why? Why do we do this? The answer is actually simple. We don't want to stop. We know that yellow means slow down. However, that's not in our nature. That's not in our vocabulary. It's almost as if our brain is saying, computing, computing, recalculating, recalculating, system processing, system processing. I would invite you to embrace the yellow lights in your life. I know you might be tempted to accelerate and apply pressure to the gas pedal to plow through the yellow light, but I would invite you into the place of doing the opposite. You don't need to beat the light. God has a similar system in the economy of the kingdom of heaven, and He knows when you're plowing through the yellow lights so you don't get stuck at the reds. You know this is true. How many times do you get frustrated when you get caught at a red light when all you wanted to do was to keep going? In the economy of the kingdom of heaven, the yellow lights are just as important as the green lights. We can't always live our lives with green lights. This is what is so important about Matthew McConaughey's latest book, Green Lights. He doesn't argue solely in defense of green lights. Rather, he argues that in our lives we need the yellow and red lights to provide balance. At the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to. Balance. Balancing the red lights of stop and pause with the green lights of progress and movement. This is so incredibly vital, and it is the purpose for the yellow lights. Learn to embrace the yellow lights. Learn to appreciate them. Learn to value them. They aren't there to hurt or harm you. They're there for your benefit, for your growth, and for your maturity as you become all God has called you to be.